it's your man Ply Rock, and I just got back from seeing Doctor Sleep, the new movie from director Mike Flanagan, also the sequel to The Shining. And I just wanted to give my initial thoughts and review on the movie, non-spoiler, do the best I can to stay out of spoilers. I will give a brief synopsis of what I saw. Huge fan of the original movie. Huge fan of the original book. I think The Shining is Stephen King's finest novel. I am more of a fan of King's earlier work as opposed to his later work. I did not read Doctor Sleep, the novel, so I was super excited though going into this. I wasn't sure how director Mike Flanagan was going to be able to handle the long history of Stephen King despising the Stanley Kubrick movie, which is beloved by movie fans for decades now, for what, almost 40 years or 40 plus years. So it was interesting to see what he was going to be able to do. Now, what he did, Stephen King was happy with. So they had made a deal, and all parties were satisfied going into making this film with the script. So when I went into this, I was extremely curious to see how they were going to pull this off. Now, this movie stars Ewan McGregor. He's a grown-up Danny Torrance. There will be mild spoilers here for The Shining as we talk about this, because you really shouldn't see this movie unless you've seen the movie The Shining, or at the very least read the Stephen King original novel. So McGregor plays a grown-up Danny Torrance who is dealing over a span of a good period of time for the first 15-20 minutes of the movie, dealing with the fallouts from the Overlook Hotel, from his mother, his father, the spirits there, and we settle into him being basically middle-aged by the 10-15 minute mark. So McGregor is unbelievable in this film. He completely pulls off an adult Danny Torrance. It's completely believable. He's a fantastic actor. It's good stuff. Now, the main villain of the movie is Rebecca Ferguson, who plays a character called Rose the Hat. So without getting too much into it, this movie expands upon the universe of The Shining. The Shining, very confined movie, basically one location, the slow descent into madness, the hotel is its own being, yada yada yada. This one opens it up to a whole world, essentially, almost more like a superhero movie as opposed to a horror movie. I wouldn't call this, I don't know, it's a fantastic horror film, but I don't know if I would call it necessarily a horror film. It feels more like a coming of age, almost superhero movie. So with horror elements. I mean, it's definitely got its moments. So Ferguson plays the leader of this group called the Knot, and they are people / beings who find people with The Shining. And there's a girl named Kylie Curran. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. I've never seen her in anything else, but she's in this. And she plays a 9-year-old, 10-year-old girl who has abilities like Danny. So maybe even a little bit greater, but you'll have to see. So the cast is unbelievable. Cliff Curtis, he's good in everything he does. Man, I remember him from Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's another gentleman, Zahn McClarnon, who plays the Crow, another character that's unbelievable. Just pretty much the whole cast gets it down. Now, they do bring back characters from the original movie. I like the way they did it. I don't know if some people will. I appreciated the way they brought back these characters, without telling you exactly which ones came back and also how they did it. But it was refreshing to me the way they did it. Some of the characters that come back from the original Kubrick film are better than others in terms of the quality. It ranges, but I think they all did, at the very least, an admirable job of portraying those characters. And it was interesting to see Flanagan have to weave this complicated web of satisfying the fans of the film and Stephen King / the fans of the book. Because if you've read the book and seen the original movie, you know they diverge. They have very different endings, very different character arcs. So for him to be able to smartly play upon the differences, he really had to weave a complicated web. The movie is 2.5 hours long. It felt towards the end like 2.5 hours long. There's a lot of the middle, even though the acting is phenomenal, the character expedition is phenomenal. The middle, I feel like they could have maybe taken out a few minutes, 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes in the middle. I would actually rather seen that on the end. This is clearly the first 2/3 of the film are one film, and the last third of the film, the finale, the third act, is another. It almost feels like another film entirely. So, although they pull it off pretty good, it's hard to talk about the ending to the film without getting into spoilers. But it was, they take care of everybody who likes the movie and the book, the original movie, the original book, maybe a little bit too much so. It kind of loses its effect, but they still do a fantastic job in what they're trying to do. I don't know if I would have went to that well one too many times, but I get it. He was walking an absolute tightrope between the source material and the original Kubrick vision. So, and don't go into this movie feeling like it's going to be equal to The Shining itself. You're setting this movie up for failure in that regard. There was one other time that comes to recent memory where where Warner Brothers studio attempted to do a sequel to a Stanley Kubrick film, and I believe that was from 2001's A Space Odyssey to 2010, Roy Scheider. That movie was kind of forgettable and hollow. 2010, I think it was okay. I think I saw it as a kid. I remember 2001. I don't really remember 2010 at all. This movie stands on its own in its own way for 2/3, for a majority of the movie. It honors the original. The acting is fantastic. The story is pretty wild and fantastic. They take it in a completely different direction, especially if you've read the book, so you kind of know. They take it in a different direction and kind of open it up to almost a Marvel type universe building, but I think the story is done, so I don't think there's going to be sequel upon sequel upon sequel for this. I could be wrong, but just that last third of the movie is almost like, all right, we got to do this because the fans want us to do this, almost a little bit too much. Other than that, it was rocking. There is one scene in the movie which very well acted, very classfully done, but even classfully done, and especially because the acting in the scene is so powerful, it is horrifying. The scene is horrifying, and it's uncomfortable to watch. So even for an R-rated movie, even for a horror movie fan, you're going to watch a particular scene without giving it away. And it hits you in the gut. It's powerful, it's visceral, it's primal, brings out primal rage in you inside. You can feel it. You can feel the agony and the pain and things that are going on in the scene. That's probably one scene that would be hard for me to get through a second time. This one particular scene. I understand why it's there. I understand that it sets up a very clear-cut good versus evil type of battle. I understand the necessity of it to the overall story. I would almost fast forward past this scene just as a parent, it's rough, but very well acted and classfully done. It's not over the top. It's just the subject matter of it is so brutal. But other than that, guys, I completely recommend it. This thing is getting a solid 4 out of 5 rock burgers. The original, obviously, masterpiece, 5 out of 5. I don't want to talk too much more about the spoilers. You guys can leave comments below. What did you think of the movie? How do you think it compared to the original? Do you think this film can stand on its own? I'm curious to hear from the Ply Rock Nation. I love it, guys. Don't forget to check out our live show, fb.gg/PlyRockGamer over on the Facebook Gaming. We're live 5 nights a week, about 9 p.m., playing the best games. We got a great community. Come join us. It's awesome. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.